Hey guys, I've been developing a mobile game using Claude Code and the Unity game engine, and the game has been making some progress. This is a kind of idle fleet building strategy game. It's kind of a bit of a slop genre in my opinion, but I really like to play these games myself, so I don't feel too bad about making games like this. But you know, they do have some elements of gacha games, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But of course we'll try our best to make it actually a good game. The basic idea is to expand further into these zones with more challenging enemies and like kind of basic idle combat where you just look at your units and fight it out with the enemies. I might add later also like abilities for the player to trigger manually. I think that works pretty well for games like these where, you know, the battles are... You trigger the battle to like push to the next stage, but then once the zone has been cleared, then you're just back to idle. Because, you know, in a game like this, you don't want to like force the player to be doing stuff all the time, because then they feel like they just have to play 24/7 or like bot the game basically, which is not ideal. I think the ideal gameplay loop is to have something that's kind of entertaining if you have to like sit in transit, or if you have to take a shit. So for that, these games are pretty cool, maybe. Now today I've been focusing on working on the UI of the game. Well, I mean, I guess the UI is the whole game. There's not much else to the game than the UI, but there are a couple of specifics I don't really like about the UI yet. I do really like these long lists. They really work for a game like this because, you know, the mobile UI is pretty narrow, so having a lot of data with like, you can fit a lot in a single row. It's kind of the idea. You know, these cards are really hard to build for like shops and items because you just need to cram so much info in there if you want it to be like kind of comprehensive. But the vertical lists, they have been working really well for a lot of stuff. Now, one issue is this UI, which I've been working on today. The layout is getting there, but I really don't like it yet. And the idea is that here you can like easily equip your weapons and equipment for each of your ships. Well, I kind of wish you saw the previous iteration, because that was really bad. This is already starting to look like almost like something decent, but either way there's still a lot we want to do here. I think the header, which is the ship name, should be at the center, and then these two things, the level and the kind of drone role, should also be right below it near the center. Other than that, I think this area looks pretty nice. I haven't tested it if it still works if we add like 1 or 2 more weapons, because it will stack them like vertically here, so it might get pretty long if there's 4. I don't think we'll ever need more than 4, even 4 might be an overkill if I'm being honest. And other than that, it's pretty good. I think the mineral cost should be inside the level button. Actually, you know what? I should be just talking this to Claude while I'm saying all of this. So let's try again. Oh, I actually did talk it out. I guess like 10 minutes ago I forgot my transcription tool on, so I did store it all in the transcript, so I just need to clip out the meta commentary here. Alright, I think I got all the meta commentary mostly out of the way. Now it's actually fine if you leave some of it in there, because, you know, Claude can figure out the task. If you have a lot of like rambling in there, if you just send that in, it will like figure out what I actually want done. Like this is literally what I just told you guys, and from that Claude is gonna figure out what it's supposed to do. I'm currently using the Opus 4.8 model, which is the current most up-to-date model. I'm using the extra high effort for this task. It might even be an overkill, because this is a fairly simple UI layout change task. I think like some medium effort might be just enough, but I mean, this is a pretty chill session. I have a lot of tokens to spend, and I don't mind if it takes a bit longer, so maybe it's fine. I'm not sure, but it might even like just not actually put in so much effort if the task is simpler than what it was kind of allocated for. But I wanted to take a moment to talk about 2 things that I've been doing for designing the UIs for my game. The first one is Claude Design. If you have a Claude subscription, you can use this. I think it uses the same tokens as your regular Claude subscription. And it's basically just a interface on the web where you tell it what kind of UI you want it to make, and then it can sketch it out or make variants. I'm not really a fan of the style. Could you make 5 different variants? Here there's a lot of gradients and it just doesn't quite feel techy enough, I guess. Could you make variants with different styles and also adjust the button and stats and information layouts also? Let's see what it does. I have no idea. I don't really need a new layout, and just copying the layouts from Claude Design doesn't make your layouts, like your design, good. It just makes you some AI slop layouts, but it's a good starting point, and I'll show you another good starting point, which is Game UI Database. I first heard of this when it was much smaller, but now there's actually a ton of stuff in here. So basically you can just search by game or search by system or UI, kind of what do you need the UI for, and you can find a lot of references from other games that will kind of show you how these games have handled designing the UI. So that's really cool. Oh, this is a Finnish game from Finnish classic story thing, or Finnish characters. The Moomin, I guess, is the English translation of it. And yeah, they have pretty neat UI, and you could definitely take inspiration from that if you wanted. But also I find it's actually kind of hard to find the UI inspiration you're looking for, but that's why I guess they have the filters. So I think if you use those, you're gonna have a better chance of actually finding what you're looking for. And it seems like our task is finished. Let's see what has been done. So yeah, so this change was just based on my ramblings, and no, it did not quite get it right, unfortunately. Let's take a screenshot and let's tell it that we disapprove. So we can just paste the screenshot in Claude Code, and let's also tell it what we don't like. The header is not centered, it's now on the right. The level text and the combat drone or the role text should be also centered. They should be basically next to each other. Also, the previous ship and next ship buttons should be moved up, and the ship stats card should be placed in between the buttons, and the buttons should be smaller and more subtle. Alright, let's see if that does the trick. So yeah, now we are having Claude do stuff. One for the Claude Design and one in our game. And at some point we're gonna have to be like, okay, the layout is like close enough to what we wanted, and then we just make the final adjustments manually. So even if you guys use AI, you shouldn't be afraid of like making manual tweaks, and you should be building the skill of working in the Unity editor. It's a visual editor. The tweaks are super easy to do. You don't need to be a huge nerd to do that. You don't need to be a programmer to edit the Unity UI. If you can play games, if you have gotten this far where you are prompting Claude, then you can definitely figure out how to adjust the UI in Unity. Although, to be completely fair, the UI is a bit of a mess sometimes when you have AI build it, so it can be also hard to find the actual UI you are looking for. Although this also might be a thing you should talk to Claude about, because there are things you could do to make it actually easier to navigate this mess. Alright, Claude Design made us some new variations, and I think it's safe to say that I'm not a fan of any of them. Yeah, they're not really what I was looking for, which is fine. This is experimental for us. Like, the point is to get inspiration, not to get solutions, because fundamentally we want to be making the calls ourselves, and the point of this is to just see new ideas. So like health bars, shield bars, maybe, but maybe it doesn't work if we don't have a clear maximum number. These also don't really convey enough information. It's really hard to tell at a glance, like, what is this going to be about. Maybe the other, like, header layouts might look good, but nah, I think what we have now might be just good enough. After the recent fixes or the latest prompts, I think it's already pretty good. Like all of this looks pretty good. Like if we ignore the layout bugs like this where the text. How can I drag this? I can never remember how to drag it. Yeah, stuff like this. This is like issue very often, but you can fix it pretty easily. It's just you have to either tell Claude it's happening or you have to go and manually fix this. Other than that, I think it's like almost there. Then of course at some point we're still gonna have to like fix the styling of the UI, because these are just like the Unity template placeholder elements. So we still need to figure out some actual UI sprites for everything, unless we just want, you know, boring squares, which we probably don't. Other than that, I hope you found this interesting, and if you guys are making your own mobile games or any other games, or if you just want to get started, check out my stuff in the description. I've got my AI tool set up there, so you can do this yourself as well. I'll see you in the next one.